Hello everybody, welcome back to another video from Tig Welding. In this little video I'm going to be using my tried and tested method of doing one run on some 3" without any gap. Just making sure I push it right in there as usual. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe and comment anything you like on this video as it really helps me along. See you soon. Welcome back. So, as I said earlier in this video, I'm going to be just welding these two little horizontal butts. I'm going to be using my tried and tested method of routing it and capping it in one run. I feel like I need to come up with a name, but what that name might be, I think I'm going to leave down to you. If you comment what you think we should call this technique, it would be brilliant. And I'll pick a winner of what I will call it in the future. Try and be creative in what you choose, because I will be choosing a winner, and whoever wins I'll be sending you out some slaps. I will get hold of you on here and just send me a message on Instagram if I mention your name or reply to you in the comments. Please get hold of me and I'll get your address and we can send some out to you. Now that's all out of the way, we can get on with the rest of the video. So, as you can see, I'm just using my usual method with things with little pipe like this, no gap, just put it right up. Schedule 10, I think this pipe is. It's not very thick at all, it's quite small, which is the only reason why I do it this way, because you can fill it up and give it a route in one go. I'm welding at about 135 amps on this. I'm using a 2.5mm filler metal with a 2.4 tungsten. My gas is set at about 35 CFHs. Believe it or not, it does help with the pull when you're trying to push the material through a closed gap like this. I think that might be the only reason it works, but I've not tested it any lower, so I can't actually say if that's the truth, but that's what I think, and I think the theory behind it is quite cool. And I think I should explain my little theory for that. So when you've got some bubbles which you blow around the house for your kids, or you might enjoy them as an adult, if you get a bubble and you're blowing it, the bubble deforms slightly in one area. So this molten pool, when you're welding, if you have something blowing quite hard on it, you can actually see it pushing it around a little bit. So then once you add filler as well, you're still pushing into it, along with that being deflated inwards a little bit more, which then pushes it through slightly, but not too much so that the outside of the weld goes in as well, because you need it to stay a little bit proud. I think I stick out on the cap about 1 or 2 millimeters, and as you can see just there, that it is still raised on the cap. I have tried it like this with stainless before, but when you have the purge on, it's slightly harder to push it through, because obviously you've got a bit more of pressure on the inside of the pipe because of the purge. You can do it, but I tend not to do it on stainless, because sometimes it's a bit hit and miss whether it can do it or not. It's always better to have a gap on stainless, I believe, and I'll completely stand by that 100%. When using this technique, I found a little giveaway to tell you that you're not getting through is when you start, if your cap seems to be bulging out at the top of the weld and not at the bottom of it, if that makes sense, you're probably not getting through. So you need to hang around a little bit more. Usually when I start off a fresh weld, I usually hang around for about 5 seconds, make sure that the two edges of the prep, the top and bottom, are thoroughly melted, and you can see that the gas is starting to push it around a little bit, and then I can start adding my filler material and building it up from there, and just keeping it consistent all the way through. The thing with welding, there's always some telltale signs that you're penetrating and leaving a nice route. For instance, if you're welding say on a 45 butt with a gap, usually a 2mm gap for me, 2.4, whatever my filler material is. If you're welding it, and a lot of the time you don't see a penetration mark. A lot of the times the root isn't, it's usually quite flush, it's not really sitting proud, but usually when you get the penetration line, which is the line going up the middle of your root on the outside when you labour wire like I do, and usually it's quite flat, but if there's a line there, then usually you know that you're in there good and it's a little bit proud and you've got that little bit of root reinforcement there. I know when I've backfeeded in the past, I've never really managed to get the penetration line, but you always, when you backfeed, you always get a nice little root on there anyway. It's pretty impossible not to. I also don't backfeed that often. I usually come in from the outside of the pipe anyway. I labour wire and push it through. If there's anybody else watching this video that does backfeed a lot, it'd be great to know if you do get a penetration line when you're doing it. It'd be nice to know, and especially for other people who don't know watching this video, it'd be a nice little insight to show them that they're doing it right or wrong. And that's pretty much it, me telling you the little signs that you can look for. So obviously you can see now that I'm making sure that I can see, I'm in front of a puddle, my head's in front of a puddle, no matter what. I'm never looking from behind or anything else, just so I can see where I'm going. And I'm keeping it as straight as possible. Like this one, I've got a pipe in the way, so I have to keep stopping and changing my angle and things like that. But I'm still keeping the consistency as good as I can keep it. Sometimes you get pipes where there's a lot more obstacles than this, but nothing else really changes other than your ability to see where everything is. And sometimes you might have to use a mirror. I don't have to do that very often, but that does get a little bit tricky. I've not got much practice with that, but I can do it enough so that a weld doesn't fail. I'm not the best in the world at it, but I can do it. It's very weird when you start off doing it. It took me ages to stop touching my tungsten with my filler metal and vice versa, which is why when I was starting to weld, a lot of people were making themselves as comfortable as they could, but I tried to get uncomfortable, because if you can make a weld, in my opinion, if you can make a weld very uncomfortably, then when it comes to doing a weld where you are comfortable, it's not going to be a problem at all. It's going to look better. You're going to have more knowledge in the way of, if anything's in your way, you know how to overcome that obstacle, and it puts you on a leading foot going forward in the field. That's it for today's video. I've talked as much as I can and the video's nearly over. Don't forget to comment in the comment section what you think we should call this technique, and hope everybody has a good one, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Catch you later.